Hey everybody, so what to do before negotiating pay? Well, here is an article that appeared on LinkedIn relatively recently called What to Do Before Negotiating Pay by Andrew Seaman. And it's just this long, just a few sentences, and it's basically talking about preparation for having the inevitable salary question when you go through a hiring process. So if you're a candidate, you're looking for a job, and you're going through job interviews, if you pass the selection, they will offer you a job at the end of it. Usually they will give you an offer letter, and at that point, pay will be a question. So it's saying here, what should you do before you negotiate pay? Now, they suggest 4 things here, okay? And I'm going to dismantle this here because I do not agree with some of these. First of all, the first thing they list is figure out their market value. Okay, so this is talking about you. So if you're a candidate, what they're recommending is that you figure out your market value. Now, here's the problem. Okay, there are some jobs out there that are in heavily regulated industries and heavily standardized industries, and the salaries and the wages are tightly controlled and they're standardized, and you don't really have too much flexibility there. However, those are a minority. The vast majority of jobs, it doesn't work like that. And secondly, it is not possible to figure out your true market value. Now, yes, I know you can go to websites like PayScale and Glassdoor, but once again, a lot of jobs, in fact, the majority of jobs, it's not possible to figure out your market value because there isn't enough data. If you happen to work in one of the most common jobs there are, in a specific region, then you may be able to get that, but that is not the majority of jobs. So once again, figuring out your market value is going to be very, very approximate at best. Secondly, just because the market price is a certain rate doesn't necessarily mean that you as an individual equate to that market price. Perhaps you have above average traits and skills and talents in other areas that make you more valuable than the standard lowest common denominator candidate in that role. There's no way of knowing one way or another, so you can't always just accept the fact that you're worth market value and that the organization will pay you market value. A lot of organizations pay intentionally below market value. So that's a factor here. Now, I'm going to do this in the reverse order here. Now, this last one here, that kind of goes hand in hand with the first point. It says, remember why they deserve the salary they requested. Well, I got news for you. You don't deserve any particular salary. That's not how the job market works. And people that maintain that it is are wrong. An organization will not pay you money because they feel you deserve it. They will pay your money because they want to secure your time and your efforts. And if they were able to pay you what they really wanted to pay you, they would be paying you well under minimum wage if they could get away with it. It's just that simple. Now, so this doesn't make any sense, okay? And the other thing here is that when we talk about negotiation, this is what a lot of people don't realize. Negotiation is not about convincing your opponent that you deserve a certain amount of money. That's not how negotiation works. And if you're negotiating against a large organization's HR department, you will not have any ability to convince them of anything. They're going to pay what they're going to pay. And they're not going to change that voluntarily. The only way they will change it is if they are forced to. If you said, no, I won't accept the job unless you pay me this. And if they have no easy alternative, then that's the only way you can force their hand. It's just that simple. Okay, now, the other things here. Learn the least amount that you can accept. Yes, that is called a reservation price. And you need to have this worked out beforehand. So you need to understand how much money you need to make. And if you can't make that amount of money or more, then it doesn't make sense. An example of this would be is if you had an alternative job offer or some other option that paid you some money. So if they're offering you less money than your other option, then it doesn't make sense for you to take it. Okay, so you need to have worked this out beforehand. I definitely agree with that. And let's look at the last one here. Understand what their take-home pay will be. So when you, so this is true, but I mean, this is kind of, a lot of times this is going to be self-evident. At the end of a job search process, if you've passed the selection process, at the end, they will give you some type of job offer, usually in the form of a contract. And in the contract, there should be the pay that they agree to pay you. And that should hopefully settle all questions of this nature. If you're taking a, not a salaried job, but a job that has an hourly pay and you're getting wages, in that case, this might be, there might be a little bit more work involved in understanding this. So yes, that is definitely something that you would have to understand before you try to negotiate. Now, that implies the reality that negotiation occurs only after they give you an offer. You cannot negotiate until they've selected you. A lot of people don't realize that. You have to go through the process. You have to get selected. They make you an offer, and only then can you negotiate pay. That's how that works. So just to sum up here, this is asking, what should you do before negotiating pay? Well, first of all, go through the entire selection process, get the offer letter. That has to happen first. Then learn how to negotiate. Okay? If you start negotiating by trying to convince them that you deserve more money, a lot of times that will fail. Okay? That's not how negotiation works on any kind of serious level. It's not about them. It's not about you persuading them. It's all about you. It's about you knowing how much money you need to make before it doesn't make any more sense. And you need to have something to bargain with. So for example, if you have alternatives, if you have other options, that gives you power to negotiate. So negotiation is actually the process of developing other options, having a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. Because if you have those, you got something very powerful in your back pocket that's going to ensure that you're not going to take any pay that doesn't make sense for you because it's so low. Okay? So that's my 2 cents on this article. I think a lot of people should inform themselves more about how negotiation actually works, and it will benefit them. It will benefit them tremendously in their career and in other aspects of both life and business. So hopefully you found that helpful. Thank you very much for listening this long. You are awesome. Don't let anybody tell you different, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.